September edition of the Temple Think Tank 2025. We've been hosting this think tank since COVID, when it used to be just a happy hour and it's gone awry. It was just a place for us to gather and woe is me about we don't have any work anymore. And then it turned into, but wait, we can work, and how are we going to pull this off? Michael, you were a big part of those meetups where we were talking about, I never forget your session was how are we going to handle all these audio devices with two ears? When we had our multi-view and our Unity and our Zoom, and we had too many things coming out our ears. We talked about battery backups and internet service, and oh, it was good times. It has since morphed into now I feel like our theme is how are we operating as freelancers? How can we be better business owners as we're all our own business? And so this month I brought in Michael the Chance, who was once one of us back in the day for most of his career until as of late. How long have you been with Wilson Dow?
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. Yeah, he went over to the dark side. I won't say the dark side because I really love Wilson Dow. They are a really great client of ours. They treat people very well, and you seem very happy, and I'm happy for you. So what's really cool about Michael is he has a great perspective of what it's like to be a freelancer and what it's like now to be in an agency and dealing with freelancers. And I think he has a really good idea, better than we do, I think, of our marketplace and where things are going and how our industry is, I feel, shifting. Um, you guys have people have commented on all the local hires we keep getting requested at Tempo. We at Tempo keep seeing these last minute hires. You all keep telling me about your show cancellations. Hey, Nancy, I'm free. So we're going to try to dive into this a little bit today and see if we can figure out what in the world's going on and how we can prepare ourselves better uh, for the future. So before we get started, I would love to just go around real quick and hear who are you, where are you, and what do you do? It looks something like this. I'm Nancy Spooner. I'm a show caller and I'm a deck manager and I'm in Encinitas, California. And I'm gonna toss it to I'll just go around the horn. Amanda, you go, you're next to me.
Hey, hi, I'm Amanda Mayfield. Just started in the consulting business for basically all around event planning. I just started in the summer. I've been a full-time employee in the past, so I'm excited for this new chapter of freelancing.
Yay, welcome.
Thank you.
Carmen, and you can have two people, Carmen.
Well, Chad already moved away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's there. He's listening. But I'm Carmen. I'm a deck manager and room producer in Richmond, Virginia. And over there is Chad. Introduce yourself, Chad.
Hey, I'm a A1, A2 system tech, all things audio, freelance.
Very nice. Thanks, Carmen. Thanks, Chad. It's good to see you. Hey, Barry.
Hello, my name is Barry Seidenstadt. I'm in Denver. I've been doing this since 1980, producer, show caller, project manager, herder of cats, you name it. I've pretty much done it. I've pressed the buttons. Yeah, I've been at it a long time. I do metrics and measurement and all that kind of stuff.
And Barry's been around on this think tank since those COVID days as well,
Yep.
as has the calm Chris Code. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Nancy and company. I'm Chris Code in Minneapolis. I'm a show caller and stage manager, and yep, been doing this for a long time too. And thanks for having us, Nancy.
Of course. Benjamin, twice in 1 week.
Greetings and felicitations, Nancy. It's great to be with you. Benjamin Dean, live multicam director for broadcast and live events, including your iMag needs in corporate. Also enjoy driving the Disguise media servers and the new Pixera platform as well. So just love making magic happen as effortlessly as possible for those above my pay grade, such as yourselves, who produce and wrangle the cats and herd the cats, as I heard you say, sir. So great to be with you all. And I'm in Los Angeles, California, by the way. Sorry, Los Angeles.
And does voiceover work if you can't hear. Hey, Meredith.
Hello again, Nancy. We need to stop meeting like this.
I know.
I saw you on Monday. Hello, everyone. I'm Meredith Miller, and I'm in Los Angeles as well. I'm a show caller and event producer. And I also work for a small family production company that does corporate events, and our specialty is show graphics.
Yay. Kate.
Hi there, Kate Stewart, stage manager, show caller based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've also been in this business for decades, so I've seen it all.
Love having you here, Kate. Galen.
I'm Galen Elliott. I'm in Dallas, and basically I do everything that y'all don't. I don't
What do
do
you
any
do?
show calling, anything else. Sweet spot, food and beverage, hospitality,
Love it.
suites, anything from like sponsor hospitality for large sporting events like Olympics or World Cup to small VIP dinners for wineries. But anything that y'all don't cover, I got.
I love it. I always say I'm not an event planner, I'm not a meeting planner, but I cannot do my job without you. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. Very, very important part. Roger Klein.
Hi, Roger Klein, graphic and Malumin operator, talking to you today from New York City, approaching my 50th year in this business.
Wow,
No,
that is cool.
that's pretty cool.
Not worth it.
Go ahead, Sasha.
Hi, Sasha Peterson, in Austin, Texas, for my sins. I am a show caller, stage manager, deck manager, room producer, wearer of all the hats that apparently Galen doesn't want to wear.
And Sasha, I think we worked together before.
I think we have. I
Sasha,
believe we
I
did.
think we worked together before.
I think we have.
And Michael, I think you and Sasha have worked together before.
Yep.
And
We
I think
have.
I have worked with Sasha before.
And I worked with Michael.
Yep.
We're good.
Okay, Tammy Stone. Hi.
Hi, thanks for continuing these. I'm actually a production coordinator. I'm a freelancer who's based in New York City. And hello to Roger Klein, who I haven't seen for a while. And I do everything. I mean, it used to be a lot of pharma meetings. Then somehow I went down the pharma training hole. So I was doing a lot of training breakouts and sort of organizing rooms or working with materials or making sure everybody had whatever they needed. And then also I somehow became a script supervisor for car meetings. So I was doing the car shows for a while. I was just at the New York car show this year for one of the groups, but also I do dealer meetings. So the company that hires me, somehow I'm the script word person, not quite the prompter person, but sits next to the prompter person to make sure that our script is what the crew uses versus the prompter script. And why not Google Documents? It's a story for another day, because that does seem to be the most obvious way to go, but not for this company right now. So I'm still being a script person in Word documents. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for doing that. Does not sound like fun.
Yeah.
All right. Gus.
Hi, my name is Gus Gabriel. I'm a video shoot post producer. I'm just getting back into this space after 12 years being a contract employee over in television world and just trying to get back in here and see what's going on.
Awesome. Where are you located?
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm in the New York City area. Yep, sorry.
Thought so. Okay, perfect. And then Amanda, you went right out of the gate. Okay, when you close your screen, your camera, you jump down on me.
Yeah, I
okay.
look different because I have curly hair today.
Gotcha. But that's her. We all look different in our profile photo, I think. Okay, so that's our group today. These are being recorded, so you can tell a friend, and we'll share it always. And don't say anything you don't want anybody else to hear, because it's being recorded. So we will get going. I think the reason we called this think tank, the reason I got the idea for this think tank is because there has been something going on, and I keep posting local hires, and people go, "What's with the local hires?" It's not my choice. It's our clients that do that, and it's a budget thing. I am, and Michael could probably talk more to what's going on with budgets because I don't know that. We are just reactive to what is sent to us at Tempo and as freelancers. And if you think about it, it's a day of travel on one end, it's a day of travel on the other end, it's hotel and per diem. It adds up very quickly, and we have a database of 1,600 pushing 1,700 people now, and clients know that, and they know we have people in New Orleans. They know we have people in Miami. However, I cannot stress enough, if you are not working and you want to work, buy yourself a ticket and get your butt to Miami. You know, depending on the length of the show, sure, you're not going to come with 5 grand. You'll come home with, 4 grand because you had to pay for your flight. And maybe you have a cousin, you can sleep on their couch. But oftentimes they're putting hotel provided, like the one in Coronado right now, they need a production coordinator in Coronado. Hotel and per diem provided. They just don't want to fly somebody and they don't want to pay the 2 extra days travel. Have you ever been to Coronado? Have you ever been to the Hotel Del? I was like, pick me. I'm already booked, or my ass would be in Coronado production coordinating because the Hotel Del is fabulous. It's down the street. It's a vacation, people. So Barb and I can't stress that enough. And we have people that are doing that, that are taking these jobs. And more than once, the client has fallen in love with that person and said, we're going to Denver next year. We're bringing you with us. Right. So it pays off. It's a relationship. It's somebody they trust. The show's going to move, but they don't want to get a new production coordinator or whatever the role might be. So I wanted to explain that part to you all of what's happening and how to best deal with it. Maybe we'll get back to the good old days when they just flew everybody all over, and we still get some of those. Let me let Gabrielle in, but yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so you just want to be very clear. So let's say hypothetically, I want to go do this Coronado job and I'm in Minneapolis. I can get myself there on air miles. They're picking up hotel and food. That's great. How do I communicate that to you best? Do I put that in the notes, the application? Do I say anything to the client about that in my application? Let me know.
Perfect question. Super duper important. When you apply, one of the first things we ask you is why this job? That's when you out of the gate. Yeah, because I'll look at cities where you're from, because that's when I'm like, oh, we can't, we can't, we can't. But then I also look over to the next column when everybody applies. And when it says, I'll fly myself there, I'll be there, I don't care where I live, I'll be there. You just say it in that why this gig out of the gate. I have a place to stay, I'll put myself up, I'll fly myself there. I mean, the Coronado had a place to stay from. So just put it in your application. Because and what's happening now also is we're getting more applicants than ever. I'll post one job for a show caller and I'll see 50 applicants within hours. And I have to go through, and I do go through all of them. And the first scan I do is they said local only, who's actually in Vegas. Okay, Chris Code, I know is not in Vegas. Well, look at that. Chris is going to fly himself out there. Like I go over here and I read the second column that has why this gig. So you just put that in your application. You don't need to email me. You don't need to email Barb because you will get lost in the shuffle when you guys email me stuff like that. It's got to be in your application. If you forget, then email us. But don't bother emailing us. I applied and I wanted you to know that I'm local. My cousin lives there. I'll stay on the couch. It's hard. We get so many. It's just hard to track. So your best practice is put it in there. Anybody else have a question about that? What's up, Kate?
Do you want that in the client section blurb or just in the extra notes section?
In the why this job.
Why this job? Okay.
Yeah, so it says cover letter, why this job.
Yeah.
I'm perfect for this job because I can get myself to Coronado. I've been a production coordinator for this show, that show, that show, that show, this show. You tell me in your words, that will be shared to the client too.
Okay, it's the client share portion as opposed to the extra notes portion. Yeah. Great. Just want to know.
Do it in both. Can't hurt. Any other questions on that? Okay. The other thing I did touch on is we are getting way more applicants than ever before. And I think that's a sign of our industry right now. And Michael, you can touch on that too, because I know we talked about that when you and I were talking about what we're going to be talking about, how you have a lot of TDs looking for work right now, which is not normal. Because we have so many applicants, y'all, please stand out. Please stand out. Put that why this job very clearly. I do not want to see cut and pasted cover letter of, loves long walks on the beach and has been doing this for 30 years. I want to know you have been production coordinating for pharmaceuticals for 15 years, whatever it is, like reinstate that job description back in my face. I understand Google Docs. I'm a whiz at Microsoft Teams. Whatever they said they want, tell me what you can, don't lie, but tell me what you do that matches what they want. And then your resume, have have one on a Word doc that you can cut and paste and save as, because I also want to see in your resume all your production coordinator positions, all your show call, whatever you are applying for, your resume should match. I'll get people that apply for a deck manager position and they're just talking about all the shows they've produced. And I'm sending these to my client and they'll be like, why did you send me this resume from Joe? Because he doesn't even talk about the fact that he's a production coordinator or whatever, right? So just, I had someone this week say, Nancy, I don't have a resume. I literally said, hey, client wants to review resumes. You don't have a resume. Can I get one from you? She goes, oh, I don't have one. And it's a very good show caller who doesn't need one because she's so stinking busy, but she's applying for a job through Tempo and she doesn't have a resume. And I was like, you got to get me one. I don't know what to tell you. I already told them she's amazing because I put my personal notes in there because I know you. I will have to know somebody that knows you, or I will call you. And if you've applied lately and I don't know you, you've gotten that phone call from me. It's like, all right, Amanda, tell me more. I need to tell my client why you're the one for the job. So I put also a comment from Tempo, what I know about this person. And I put in there, she's been calling shows since the start of time. I've been on shows alongside her. She's an amazing show caller. You can't go wrong. I'm like, can we have her resume? She didn't get the job. She didn't get in fast enough because I sent everybody else had their resumes lined up and they picked somebody else. Note to self, have it, make them, take 10 minutes, like make one. I go, girl, just throw something together. And she did, but it was too late. She took too long and I already went through what I sent them. So anyway, those are 2 tidbits that I have for you all on how to get work from us, like some of the best practices from Tempo. Try not to wait too long because if you haven't noticed, also a lot of these shows are very last minute. It's because Tempo isn't, oh, by the way, we are not the first call. We never have, we never will be, and I never expect to be. Wilson Dow has a bench of freelancers a mile long. When that bench dries up or someone adds 19 breakout rooms and Wilson Dow doesn't want to handle that crap, I get to handle it, right? So I get the last minute stuff, or I get the stuff that's just, it's going to take too much time for somebody at Wilson Dow to find 19 show callers and 19 graphics ops for 19 breakout rooms. So I get to do that, which is very smart for them, I think. So we are the last minute, the, oh, by the ways, and like, I don't want to handle this many contractors and they just want one invoice and one contract from me. So be aware that some of this is very last minute, and the sooner you get your stuff into me, the higher the odds are that you're going to be your resume is going to ship right back to them, because we look pretty damn good when I can turn around and be like, oh, because someone said this week, he's like, Nancy, it's so last minute. I know it's so last minute, but you happen to have a show caller that could help us out in Las Vegas? That was the one. And I was like, yeah, watch this. Posted it, you guys applied, I sent it right back to them within like an hour. He's like, oh my God, that was amazing. Can I have so-and-so's resume? I'm like, yeah. So, oh, so there you go. We got last minute hires and we have a lot of people applying. So that's what I'm seeing going on thus far. And if you guys don't have any questions for me, I'm going to ask Michael a few questions. Michael, it's a chance. What are you seeing? What are the trends that you're seeing? What is the shift? As you and I talked, there is a shift that's happening. Last minute hires, cancellations. What do you have to say for yourself? And how should our freelancers prepare? What do you
Well,
speak?
first, I'm the director of technical production at Wilson Dow, and I'm very involved in staffing there. I've been there almost 3 years. I was a freelancer for many, many years before that. Roger, I got my first paycheck 49 years ago in this business. So next year, 50. A lot of that was theater, now corporate since 1988. But trends, and Nancy and I discussed this. You know, we saw 9/11, couldn't miss it, right? Couldn't miss what it did to our industry. We saw the financial crisis, couldn't miss it. We know what it did to our industry. We saw COVID, God help us all. We know what it did to our industry. What's happening now is much more subtle. There is no giant event that is affecting everything. But Wilson Dow has seen a slowdown 2021 into 2021 into 2022. It was a huge COVID backlog, right? were all the meetings that needed to happen, and we were all crushed. In 2022, best year I ever had as a freelancer. Almost killed me. That's why I took a job in 2023. But we all saw it. That pent up business is gone. And we're settling back into the cycle that we had in like 2015 to 2020 of a booming first quarter, dead summer, starting to hear from clients like the day after Labor Day, the phone starts ringing. And then you're busy October, November, it slows down December while you're getting ready for first quarter. It wasn't like that in 2022, right? It was busy for 12 months. I mean, it was all anybody could do. Now the slowdown is getting worse, partially driven by the changes that are happening in our country, partially driven by companies that have overseas goods that they bring in. If you're looking at a manufacturer, a pharma company, or something like that, if they manufacture overseas, they're uncertain. And there's really nothing more dangerous to our business than uncertainty. And that's exactly where we sit today, is just a tremendous amount of uncertainty. Production companies don't know to hire. Production companies are saying, let's find a local show caller. All producers have to check with me before they put a technical director on. And they'll say, I want a technical director show caller combo. And I always say no. Unless it's a really small show, I always say no. Because then you're going to say to your technical director, can you go pick that up? No, I'm busy calling queues. It's hard to join those two jobs. I get asked it all the time. Can we find a local vendor? And they go on Google and they come back with, Bob's Gas Bait Navy as the company they want to use. And I'm like, no, we'll find a way to do this. As Nancy said, we'll find someone who will travel for a half day. We'll find someone who won't charge overtime on travel days. There's all these different things that I can say, uh, these are better ways to do it. I can say, why are you traveling? Three creative people. Knock two of them off and hire a stage manager or a show caller. There are a lot of things going on, but it's very subtle right now. There was no hammer to the head coming into the market that we're in right now. I think that's why production companies are being so conscious. We can't ignore, I'll say the word Encore, Pinnacle, the companies that are in-house. A corporation has X dollars, $100,000. And they used to give $85,000 to the production company to do creative and everything they were doing, and then 15,000 to the hotel. I hope I did the right math. Now 50% is going to the hotel, and there's 50% left to do the show. And so but of course the client wants the same show they had last year. So we're really seeing the difficulty of the expenses of rigging power, internet, the new rigging. San Diego on a show Nancy and I did in 20 whatever, $150,000 for a 1 gigabit line, 150 grand. You think clients notice that when they've got, even if they have a $4 million budget, you need 4 internet lines. That's a problem. So the expenses outside of our control are affecting us and are affecting clients. Then you add uncertainty to the equation, and I think that's where we sit now. If Nancy's getting lots and lots and lots of applicants, that tells you lots and lots and lots of people aren't getting the amount of work they want. It goes without saying. It's just the math. So yeah, I think that I'm getting calls from people who I would have thought they never called anybody for work. They've had work since, when they were in knee breeches till now, they've been busy. I was like that when I was a freelancer. I never called looking for work, except the financial crisis, 9/11, learning how to do virtual in COVID, right? We need to respond similarly to this very subtle crisis we're in now. Shake the bushes, make the calls. Nancy sent me a list of questions, and one of them is, how do you stand out? when I'm on a show, and now I'm in a different position, so I get to see a little bit more of a 20,000 foot view. If I see someone walk through the drape, turn around and dress the drape behind them, check. Sounds silly. It's old school. If I see my A1 who's doing nothing, and I've got two meeting planners passing out things on the 2,000 seats, when they jump up and grab a box and start passing things out in the seats, I notice them. When they're walking through the room and they bend over and pick up a piece of trash, I notice them. They also have to be good at what they do. There's that. And I'm going to know how good you are in the first 2 hours of working together. The rest is when our staffing department, we have staffing request forms. Every producer for every freelance position has to submit that with their requests on it. If I look at those requests and I say, oh, Carmen, I liked Carmen. She did the job well. She checked all those boxes. She understood the global view, the macro view of what a show is, picking up trash, dressing the drape. She took time at the end of the show, walked around, shook my hand, thanks for the work, went to the producer, big hug. I had such a wonderful time working with you. You're so good at what you do. That person, for that, all that information might be gone. That name, I go, oh, Carmen, let's use Carmen. And I use Carmen as an example because I've seen her do all of that stuff. It's really important that you stand out in ways other than doing your job well. It used to be that you could be as good as your attitude could be as bad as your talent was good. I could tolerate someone who's got a horrible attitude if they're the best E2 switcher I know. Those times are gone. They really are. I want competent, nice people. A lot of people who know me said you'll never see someone yelling in my room twice because you'll never see them again. There's just no reason for it. So that was exceptionally long with it. And I don't remember if I said it. These are all my opinions. I know nothing. I don't have a crystal ball. These are just things I'm seeing in many years of experience and through many cycles in this business. So take it, leave it, ignore it, laugh at it. I will not weep into my pillow softly tonight if you go with a different opinion.
Thank you. And I am so sorry for not introducing you. That was really rude of me. So thank you for yourself. Everyone else got an introduction except for our main guest. So my dear, sincere apologies, Michael. But I think you hit the nail on the head about you and my dad. We grew up with the same philosophy. My dad always says, and if you've been on cruise with me, my crew letter always ends with um, look around the room and see what needs to be done and do it. Always do more than your share and empty the trash. And I have lived that and I watch it and I look for people that have that same philosophy, like you just said, Michael. Um, I had a call with a freelancer who was not happy that she'd kept applying and wasn't getting work. And that makes me sad too. And she's like, why? So I took time out of my day and I went through all of the shows she's applied for. And I said, first of all, I can see, I called her because I don't want to email this. This is like relationships are so important to me and I don't know her. And I called her and I was like, hey, I want to talk to you about this. And so we played phone tag, we talk. And I said, listen, I looked through all of your applications and I appreciate you applying. I go, you've been applying for jobs that were locals only in New York and you're in California. Like, that's the main thing. I go, there was one job that you were West Coast based. It was up in San Francisco. You're down south. I go, but they did fly someone in and I did choose somebody else. And I'll tell you why. I said, he is constantly promoting Tempo. He's always sending freelancers to us. He sent us clients. He's just a good guy and he hasn't gotten a gig from us in a while. And I chose him. And she got mad. It's like, so I need to promote your business so I can get work. And I was like, that's not what I meant, but it doesn't hurt. Yes. Like, I know him. I have a relationship with him. I know his work ethic. I know how much he loves this company and how he helps us with Tempo and promote Tempo. And he shows up to think tanks. Like, all of it matters. Relationships matter. The after show, thanking your crew, hugging your producer if they like hugs, whatever it is, like that means something to Michael. And I'm so glad you said that out loud because that is such beautiful etiquette that I don't know everybody knows. I didn't know when I first started that that's what you do, but that's the little things. It's relationship building, and it helps get your butt in the door for sure. Um, I don't know about the person that was mad at me, what show I'm gonna be able to get her on because she was so frustrated with us, and I was just being honest and kind. Like, this is how the world works,
Yeah.
right? And the
Two
person that took the
mistakes, right?
what's that?
The two mistakes they made. They got mad at you, which was wrong. It should have been, oh my goodness, thank you so much for such wonderful advice. Right?
Yeah,
Same problem, different answer. Now you're telling this story about that person with clearly negative thoughts. If that person had simply said, I don't know why I'm not getting hired, you explained it, and they had responded, thank you for the advice. I wasn't thinking that way. It's responding to the same situation differently.
yeah,
Um, you want to be the person that's not being talked about on a Zoom call as the saying squeaky wheel gets the grease. My saying is squeaky wheel's the one I replace. Um, so, think about how you're being perceived. Wilson Dow does a debrief at the end of every single show. It might be 3 weeks later, but every single event we do, well over 100 a year, we debrief. And it's the COO, the director of producing department, me, the producer of the show, one or two other people. Sometimes the CEO joins depending on the size of the show. And we debrief the vendors, every single freelancer we hired. And if I'm saying, I really liked them, I like their work ethic. Remember those words? None of our kids know them. Uh, I remember their work ethic. They were great. They said thank you. They did a beautiful job, but they went above and beyond the call of duty. There's a staffer, the head of our staffing department is on those calls, and they're making all these notes of everything that's said on the debrief. So it really does make a difference how you are perceived in the ballroom, in the theater, in the dining hall, wherever. I know people who have lost their job because they complained to the person serving food about the food. It boggles my mind. But it ends up getting reported to me. I'm at a debrief. I'll say, yeah, Joe did a great job, but man, I got 3 different people from the hotel telling me he yelled at a waiter. Done, gone, forget it. We don't blacklist anybody, but there's a real bottom of the list that a lot of people live on.
yeah.
So and the other thing you said, Nancy, that really I think is important. You said, I called them. I get 10 emails a day of people looking for work and 8 of the people I don't recognize. I just don't recognize them. Don't recognize the name. There's just too many people. My phone rings and I answer it, and it's like, hey, this is Joe Michael. We worked together on such and such. Okay, good. I've got him in my head now. I just wanted to let you know that I'm pretty available in October. The phone still exists. And I love people who call me because I remember them. So if you're shaking the bushes looking for work, a phone call might be better than an email. And it doesn't need to be a half-hour call, and you don't need to be talking about what meat you're smoking on Saturday. It needs to be a fairly brief, I don't want to take a lot of your time, just wanted to put my name in your head. And I've got to tell you, I'll get a staff requesting form and their name is in my head. Um, I prefer it to emails. Again, I'm very old school. I completely admit that. I still hold the phone up to my head when I talk. I don't walk around with it like this on speaker, but I think there are important things we can learn by thinking a little bit more old school, because that really is the way I think things are going.
Thank you for saying that. I was going to ask you like that question. How can freelancers, what can they do to help themselves with the agencies? Don't call me at 1600, 1700 of you. It's a lot. Email me. No, Or yep, I will get back to you. Like I do. I will get back to everybody. So you can call me. I'll pick up if I can. Sasha, what's up? You have a question, comment.
Yes, I do. So, and it might be a changing of ideology, Michael, but when I started out some 20, well, you all guys said it, so 20 some 8 years ago, since I've been here, I was told very early on by various producers that like, don't call looking for work. You should send an email that's like a hi, how you doing? This is what I've been up to. Like, would love to catch up with you sometime. Not, hey, this is my availability, because that was always seen as desperate. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures sometimes. But there is that, or it's always been a concern of mine. Like, I don't want to ever do that because I don't want to annoy somebody by picking up the phone. Like, hey, I'm busy. What are you calling me for?
Mhm.
Send me an email. Like, so it's a fine line, double-edged sword, I think.
No,
think
Like,
no,
thanks for letting us know your preference. I'll be calling you soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Carmen,
no,
you just
no,
had a
it
post
does
about
make
this.
sense. It makes sense. It is a double-edged sword. And a lot of times you're going to end up in voicemail and you're going to accomplish exactly the same task. But
right.
there are emails I barely read, just because there are so many of them. So, and again, like I said at the beginning, my opinions, how I like to work, is certainly different than how some. If you run into a producer who's so arrogant they don't want to talk to you on the phone for 3 minutes, I think you need to think about that as well.
Okay.
But totally my opinion, that uh, we need to. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to say this. I don't have an HR person on the phone, which is great. We need to get more sensitive. We need to go back to when we said thank you and when we had meals together. And when, I can honestly say every single one of my friends is a colleague. That it's our world. This is a world. If you make yourself an island in this world, you're not going to work. And we're seeing that more and more and more. People who have never looked for work are calling looking for work. One of the best stage managers I know, show callers I know, Nancy, we worked with them in San Diego, is looking for work. I can't believe that person is looking for work. They are so good.
Crazy.
And they want to get onto our database. And I'll put
Yeah.
her at the top. I'll instantly put her at the top. It's just, and it was with a text. All right. So somewhere between an email and a call was a text. And as soon as I saw her name, I called someone to make sure I was thinking of the right person. And then I followed up on it. So it's the business is changing. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. And there's a nervousness that producers have. I look at the owners of Wilson Dow, very smart business people, and there's a slight nervous, not a nervous we're going to die, sort of a nervous I've got a hangnail. It's not going to kill us, but it's not going to be very comfortable. And I really feel that industry wide. It's not really comfortable right now.
Interesting. Carmen, you just posted in the chat. Carmen
Yeah,
just had that post
yeah,
yesterday.
so that's
Tell
a
us.
link to my post, but I really like what Michael was saying because so I posted about this, but I did send emails. I didn't make phone calls. Phone calls somehow seem even scarier than emails. So that was step one because that was the first time that I've really said, okay, you you can do this. Um, but I just wanted to let everyone know, and like Sasha, when you were saying that this wasn't you were told that this wasn't something to do, of course, not everyone responded that I emailed, and I'm still getting responses in, but all of the responses were very positive. No, people were like, thank you so much for letting me know your availability. And I've been told before by people who are doing the staffing that they prefer to know the exact dates that you're available because they don't want to have to call you and say, are you available? So every so often sending them. And then if you have an opening going, like if something cancels and you end up with an opening, sending them an additional one that says, hey, I got something that opened up, and that they actually appreciate those because that email can come in right when they're looking to staff a show and there's your email and now they don't have to do the work. I even specifically asked one person, Sasha, I think that's someone that I had put you in touch with too, Sarah at American Express, and I had reached out and, she's like, keep in touch. And I responded, I'm like, I hope it's okay that I send you these, that I reach out every so often. And she was like, absolutely, please do. Staying top of mind is good, like encouraging me to continue to do it. So I just want to encourage everyone else too, if you're feeling reluctant, that if nothing else, a lot of lovely conversations come out of it and, relationship building, which may not mean that I have the job, in October, November, December that I'm looking to fill, but it doesn't mean that something won't come up, later on down the road.
No,
100%.
I call
And
it shaking the bushes. You got to do it.
yeah, and at Tempo, telling us you're available, honestly, it's too much for us. We post if you're available, apply. And when people say I'm available, here's my dates, I cannot keep track of y'all. But when I post something on Slack, apply to it. Like I just say, just look on Slack. I can't keep track of. Someone today said, "Hey, I can stay as a local," and he named all these cities, and I was like, honestly, I can't keep track of where you can work as a local. Just keep an eye on Slack. But on your behalf, I am constantly following up with our clients. I have a little alert that goes off that says 6 months ago, Sasha was a show caller on XYZ show, and I'm like, hey, client. Looks like you had Sasha 6 months ago. I'm assuming you're in planning. Are you in the planning process? Do you want her back? We also have, more deck managers or whatever. Like I'm doing that on your behalf, trying to keep the business coming because I'm trying to stay top of mind for them too, so that they know, oh, Sasha's still here, or whatever. Like I'm doing that on behalf of you all. So, but I want to know what you can do for your own clients because I am, like I said, we're just gravy. But I want you to be the best freelancers possible and do whatever you can to keep getting work without me. I love that, Sasha.
Sorry, just to follow up on that, because there was a show that I did not last year, the year before, the through Tempo, and I followed up with them before the following year, and I never heard anything back. And it was someone I thought I got on very well with, and we've never had like a debrief of like, do you do that? Like, if you don't get rehired, do you have a conversation or a feedback immediately afterwards, like a debrief with them of how did our person do? And I know this is a sidebar and we can take it offline, but just as you brought that up, I'm like, so we can always offline that conversation. But is that something you guys do? Is that something that you have with your clients where you have a debrief of how did our person do for you?
I think Wilson Dow in particular gave me a debrief on somebody that wasn't a rave review. And I talked to that person and said, hey,
Okay.
just so you know, this is what they saw. This is, what you could do better in the future, blah, blah, blah. But so
Yeah.
Michael, what do you
Oh,
guys
great.
do?
So you do follow up. That's great.
But for me, that's key. If someone is falling short of the mark and you can give them a positive, constructive criticism that might elevate them, might give them the opportunity to improve, I think those of us who have a lot of experience in the business, that's mandatory. Yeah, we should be, no one steps up without a hand. So if you pull someone aside and say, it's the fifth time you've walked through the drape without dressing it behind you, and everybody notices that stuff. The guy who has to get up, the electrician who gets up from control, goes and dresses it. Small notes, that's a very small example, but
Yeah.
we can all help lift people up.
But I have to say, over my career, I've noticed that it seems people are reluctant to give constructive criticism. I've done that. If I haven't been hired again, I've followed up and been like, hey, you used me last year. And they're like, oh, something came up and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, is there something that I did or something I could have done? And I find people get almost a little frosty when you approach them that way. It's like, I'm not challenging you. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to be better always. Like, I'm never afraid to, we should always, no matter how long we've been in this business, right? We can all learn and grow because it's also personality. Like, if you didn't gel with somebody, that's a good thing to know. And then there's nothing you can do about that. We are who we are. But if it's my work or my approach, like I'm totally open to that, but I feel there's a lot of my experience has been a lot of resistance to that kind of information.
Yeah, it's difficult. You're going to hit the right people and the wrong people. When I was a younger TD, I'd walk up to the producer after every single show and say, "What can I do better? What can I do differently to help you more next time?" And a lot of
That's good,
times they
man.
would say your drawings were late, this happened, that happened, and they'll offer that criticism. But they're going to know that I care enough to try to change how I do what I do to keep the work. And
Can you
I
say that
think,
one more? Can
what's
you say
that?
that one more time? How did I do? What can I do better? What did you say? You're
Yeah,
quoting me.
what can I do better or differently to help you more? What am I the best fit for you? If I'm not, how do I become the best fit? It tells them I'm willing to change the way I work to accommodate your needs. And these are all just really silly things at the end of the day. But at a debrief, and a producer tells me, that TD pulled me aside, told me how wonderful I was, and then asked on the next one, what can I do to better? What can I do to help you more? That'll be said at a debrief, and it'll be respected um, at a debrief. So, and following up with something Carmen said, of sending the letter with your availability. Again, I'm not anti-email. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable. Um, but the difference of the emails I'm getting now, they used to say, "Hey, I've got availability next August 2026, this month. I'm available next month." And I think that says a lot. I really do think that says a lot. People are not booked 6 months out right now. They're going month to month. They're getting a call, nothing, a call, nothing. Um, that's why I've used the overused shake the bushes, because no fruit's going to fall if you're sitting there waiting for a call. It just doesn't happen. It's wishful thinking, though. I think that for a while, those days are gone. Um, and let's all hope they come back.
Shake the bushes. No fruit will fall if you're waiting for a call.
Look at
Noted.
that. I've got some really negative ones too, but I won't give them to you.
No, that's okay. We're good. Mhm. Anybody else have any more questions or comments or anything we can help you with? Or... Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, just a comment, kind of based on what you all were saying before. Many times I get a job with someone new producer, whatever. And I think it goes well. At the end, they say, "Oh, we really enjoyed working with you." And I think, "Well, this is great. We have a relationship. Something will happen." And then I'm ghosted. Never hear from them again. It's not unusual, and then I never know exactly why what seemed like a good opportunity never happened. Again, it's just a comment.
Yeah, that stinks. Getting ghosted stinks. That's why I won't ghost anyone. Like that woman that wanted to know why she wasn't getting calls. I think it's how you were raised. We were raised differently, right, Michael? Our parents told us to respond, except not to all emails, evidently.
Is anyone else noticing, talking of, experience, like a generational change in that kind of attitude? Because I've certainly noticed like there isn't that kind of what we grew up knowing and learning was the right way of doing things. It seems it's sort of, what's the nicest way of putting it? Not being translated through the newer people coming up.
Yeah.
Kids these days.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that.
I did.
It's Wilson Dow has a formal mentor program. I have 3 people that I mentor. One of them was a production assistant who is now a technical director doing shows. 2 years it took him, following me through everything I did, and now he's TDing shows. Um, it goes back to that hand up thing. There are youths that want to work in this business and want to learn, and there is a different mentality amongst some about work, about working hard. And I try to teach them, you will not get ahead without working hard. Nothing's going to be handed to you. And if you've got that a little bit of entitled feeling that you deserve something, and I said this to someone on a salary review when they said they deserved the raise, and I said, you feel you deserved it. I don't think you earned it. So there's a really entitled mentality going on at the younger levels. But I'm seeing some wonderful. Again, I'll mentor someone for. Usually we do one call. Some of them one call a month. Some of them I do one call a week. Um, and I know after the second call, I'm wasting my time with you. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You're trying to tell me. But often they will say something to me that I realize I'm an old man. They just taught me something about how to deal with them. So it's communication and it's listening, and it's specifically the very experienced, uber experienced people dealing with newcomers into the business. And a lot of them are coming in saying, I'm $1,500 a day for the first 8 hours. And I'm like, you could stop right there. I don't need the rest of the spiel at all. You know, you're 24. This is your third show. And pull up your pants, put a belt on, and we'll get to work. But I really love the fact that we have a mentoring program. Every director, there are 7 of us. I have multiple people we're mentoring. Um, and they're moving up in the company so fast, so much faster than if they didn't get help, or if they were treated badly. We've all seen people treat production assistants badly. Um, we don't tolerate it. We won't tolerate it. If a freelancer does it, they're gone. So
That
if we don't nurture, then there really is no hope for our industry anymore because we're going to die out. And then there's going to be such a gap in the business, which exists now. Show me a 28-year-old TD. That can TD. There's a big gap. I used to look behind me, and the TDs who were a little older than me were looking behind them, and they found me. I was on their heels. I look behind me, I see nobody. It's an interesting time in our business.
And I think because we aren't at an agency, that we as matured freelancers need to do what we can to mentor those around us and help the young producers around us. I mean, I had a producer one time, I was like a room producer, show caller overseas or whatever. And as a freelancer, and I turned to my agency producer and I was like, hey, the interpretation guy needs to know where he's going to set up his booth. And she goes, I don't know. And I was like, this is not even in my realm of things to do. Like, I'm just going to be your show caller. Like, my brain was like, who says I don't know? And I had to tell her, I'm like, well, you shouldn't say I don't know. We should say I'm gonna go find out. Like, I don't know right now. Like, let me look at that. Like, she just stopped. I don't know, and she was done. It's just the little things like that that we were trained that you don't say I don't know. You say, let me think about that. I'm gonna find you an answer. But if we can take and friend these young ones that need a little, and she's not doing what I do. She's a producer, like but just help them share what we know, kindly, gently, and do the best we can. On Tempo, we always talk about mentors, people. I wish if anybody has an idea how we can take these 1,700 people and create a mentorship program, I'm all in. I know Carmen, Carmen, you're like the superstar. You're like some part of some mentorship program now too.
Yeah, so there's a organization called Beyond the Ballroom, and they offer a mentorship program. I think it's mostly meeting planners, but there are sort of a gamut of people, and I applied and was accepted. So I've been paired with a mentor for the next 6 months. That they're just there to, I guess, help me in my business, whatever it is that I need help with, whether it's, networking, or if I was looking for a job, which I'm not, but There are programs out there.
I think I'm going to research that, Carmen, and or if you want to give me an introduction, and maybe there's a way we could get some of us at Tempo to be mentors.
Also, I
introduce.
think, yeah, I also think you can, like, I was on a call with Sasha one day, and I just, this was like awkward as awkward, but I just said, Sasha, will you be my mentor? And she was like, yes, I'd be honored to be your mentor. Like you can always just ask someone and they, might just be like, yes.
Honored. Absolutely.
And we have a great date. She'll text me if she's on a show and she's like, this situation came up. Are you free? I'm not sure how to handle it. If I am, I'm like, please call me. Absolutely. We can talk through it. Or if I'm not, like, let's just keep texting back and forth, like, propose, or let's, talk about, we can talk about it afterwards as well. If we've got like the solution arose somehow, like I would never have thought in my life that somebody would ask me to mentor them, because I'm still like, I think I need a mentor, but I'm
We
very
all need
honored. And
mentors.
Well, and it came
doesn't
up
matter what age
after,
we are.
yeah, it came up after your Tempo think tank about mentors and talking about your mentors. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask.
No, Carmen, you're so gutsy. I love that about you, right? And it's paying off. So anyway, I'm not. I know we just did a think tank about mentorship, but I think I want to brainstorm a little bit more on that and see if there's some sort of, if we can get involved in Beyond the Ballroom, because I definitely don't want to start any new programs, but if there's a way we could easily say, and it may be a mentor channel on Slack, like I need a mentor, I'm a mentor. Like maybe we just start doing that on Slack. Maybe that's something I bring up that we can just connect the dots and let y'all work together. I'm having Michael a chance, who I do consider one of my mentors, just so you know. I have, and you're not a TD. I mean, you are a show caller, but you and I aren't on the same career path at all. But I've always looked up to you as, what would Michael do? What would Jesse do? Those are my, and what would Evan? Those are the three guys that I look up to. And then I have Sherry Fox, who I adore and has helped me so much in my career. When I have questions about anything, I know I can always turn to her. Like, find those people in your life that you know you can turn to and ask the silly questions. And even Carmen, you called me the other night and was like, so I have a meeting coming up. Am I on the right track? And I just ask people. No one wants you to fail. And I'm saying this not just to the people here, but whoever's watching this video, in the records, because I hear people do watch these. So anyway, it's 2 o'clock. We have to wrap it up. But this was fabulous. Michael, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us. You've
My
got
pleasure.
quite the fan club here, and now you have new fans, I'm sure. And I know it was time that we stole from you, but it was really, really helpful.
My favorite part of my job at Wilson Dow is mentoring. So
Cool. Well, thank you very much. This will be recorded. We will save it. You guys can play back up from our YouTube channel. Give us a couple days and just keep doing the good work, and we'll see you on Slack. And you can email me. You can call me if you want to talk about availability or whatever. I'll be more open to that. All right. Thanks, friends. Until next time.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye,
Michael.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sasha. Bye,
Bye.
Nancy.
See you guys.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.